How you doing, everybody? I'm George. I'm an addict. And hello, West by God, Virginia. Before I share with you my chicken McNugget of wisdom, okay? This is what you call love when you come here. You got friends that throw chicken McNuggets at you. But tonight, it's going to be a little different because I'm going to share my happy meal of experience, strength, and hope with you. Okay? Before we go on, the first thing I want to do I want to talk about those preambles that we read when we first come here and we act like fools. And my first experience with Ripley, West Virginia, the Mountaineers Convention, I never heard anybody read readings like that in my life. People were jumping all each other's faces, acting like fools, yelling "we," and people were getting pissed off, okay? This is what I've learned. This is not a regular meeting of Narcotics Anonymous. This is a convention of Narcotics Anonymous. This is a celebration of recovery and life. All right? All right? Some people get all twisted up. They get their panties all twisted up in a curl because we act like idiots and say, not until we get involved with service that someone points out you're an asshole, right? And everybody gets all freaked out. People died to write that literature. Yeah, they did. And guess what? They had a sense of humor too. Understand? Right? And where they are right now, because believe me on this, trust me, okay? This is only my chicken McNugget of wisdom, all right? I have a home group. I have a home group on the other side. It's waiting for me. And those people are dancing and singing and acting the fool when we say that stuff. We're having fun. Now, just sharing with you my experience, strength, and hope. If you try to do that at my home group, I'd wrap a chair around your neck. I'm serious, I would. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're going to love me for my honesty, okay? I'm going to say you got some set of balls coming in this group and trying to act like an idiot like that. I'm going to mop the floor with your head. All right? Sometimes I get a little passionate about Narcotics Anonymous. I can't help it. My old sponsor used to say to me, "You have a lot of passion, but no tact." So that's how I feel about that, okay? How I feel about these people coming up here to get the coins and get their key tags, man, I am like floating like a butterfly because I am elated to see the miracle of recovery that goes on in this room. We don't shoot our wounded. Never happened. We don't turn people out. We don't tell you you're a scumbag, you're a loser, you're never going to get this. We love you until you can love yourself. All right? Now, I'm going to go on and I'm going to tell you what it means to me to be Riplified. All right? Because I'm going to make the statement that my sponsor is famous for making. I've been ripped up, tripped up, beat up, fucked up, and outright psychedelicized. And now I've been Riplified. All right? What's it like to be Riplified? Riplified is when you come here and people shower you with love. They don't know you from a can of paint. Riplified is walking around this property and you just know in your heart how many footsteps have been done here. This is sacred ground. It's a very, very special place for me. I'm the kind of guy that when I'm pulling back out of town and getting back up onto the highway to leave here, I'm thinking about October. And in October, I'm thinking about May. All right? I come back to my home group like on fire. I'm like the Energizer Bunny on crack. All right? Because I know there's just something here. It's a sense of tradition and a feeling of family. We all love each other unconditionally here. I don't care who you are, where you come from, how much or how little you have. Only in what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. Not how every time I get into how I can help, oh, I'm going to fuck you up. All right? Believe me, I'm famous for unsolicited advice. All right? And then I say to myself, why did you do that? You did that. You did it again. You try to fix, manage, and control somebody. All right? I also want to talk to the people in this room that have problems with medicine, religion, and psychiatry. It's just not sufficient enough. But if you need to use it, use it. I'm not here to define the God of your understanding. I have no opinions on your medication. None. Okay? I'm not here to crack your head open. I'm not a nutcracker. I'm just another recovering addict. I'm not here to shrink your head up. Okay? I love when this guy Tony D from the Bronx all the time used to say, you know, we're not going to delve into the psychological aspect of the addictive personality. Yeah. And I used to hear that and I was like, wow, that guy's heavy, man. You know? You know? But it's the truth. It's where we come here to recover. Okay? And we come here to Ripley to celebrate that. And what we do in our home groups is we take a little piece of this from this property and we bring it back. And it only lasts about 6 months, maybe 5. 5, right? And then by the time we get around to 4.5, 5 months, we're like, oh, can't wait to get my battery charged again, man. You know? And when I first came here, look, I'm going to tell you about me a little bit. No, you know what? First I'm going to tell you about you a little bit, all right? All right. I'm going to tell you about you, okay? Anybody that's a newcomer or new to Narcotics Anonymous is early in this program. I'm going to tell you a little bit about you. You people are miracles. Do not ever lose sight of that. If you did not use in the past 24 hours, you're smoking. I'm serious. That's what it's like. You people are miracles. We're all miracles. It doesn't matter how much time you have. Doesn't matter your increments of time. Guess what? Time doesn't mean a lot, right? Okay? I'm not about abstinence. I'm about recovery. That's what's important to me. Okay? Like my sponsor, he always says, you know, when somebody goes to him, what step are you on? He looks at the bottom of his foot. He goes, I'm not on any step. I'm supposed to apply the spiritual principles of all 12 to the best of my ability in a 24-hour period. Tomorrow's another day. That's what I'm supposed to do. Okay? But let's never lose sight of this. Everywhere, everything from that piece of plastic that somebody just got before I came up here to this coin I have here. I hate to plug him, but I love the guy. Mr. Billness is a little coin holder here. I sewed to my vest. You understand? For me, I don't know about anybody else. I'm sharing my experience, strength, and hope. This thing right here on my vest, my coin, my increment of time, okay? And my sponsees understand this too. To me, this is more precious than Olympic gold. You understand that? I earned this. I didn't deserve it. If I got what I deserved, they would have thrown dirt on me a long time ago. But I have a forgiving God. Okay? Time stands for things I must earn. Okay? And it's not just an increment of time. It's about how I'm living. It's about how I'm feeling. What am I doing? How deep am I going? I'm about the journey on the inside, man. That's what it's all about to me. Because believe me, I can do the wrong thing very easily. We all do. Okay? I came here to Narcotics Anonymous ready to cop feeling. I'm going to tell you about when I first came around and what it's like now. Okay? I don't want to talk about like I'm some, ready to invent the wheel old-timer here, okay? But I've been around for a couple of cups of coffee. I came to Narcotics Anonymous in what we called the beeper age, okay? All right? This was before everybody walked in with a cell phone, okay? And everybody was like, I called them finger puppets. because everybody's puppeting with their fingers during the meeting. I'm like, oh, really? You heard what they just said? Yeah, good. Keep coming. All right? I came in here and people were having beepers. And back then, the funky, skunky, old dope fiends were still around. Those were the people that taught me how to stay clean a day at a time. Okay? And it was, I don't know, for me it was just a little bit different. It was, those people were serious. I was talking to somebody this afternoon about this. Those people that were around back then, there wasn't too many meetings in the state of New Jersey when they got clean. And you want to talk about, you're going to tell people about willingness? They were the kind of people that rode halfway across the state to make a meeting. Okay? Wednesday night meeting was not in our town. Wednesday night meeting was down towards Atlantic City. Okay? And they were serious about this, you know. And sometimes I don't want to get, you know what, it says we shouldn't pull NA's name into public. I'm not talking about public controversy right now. I'm talking to you people, my people, okay? I'm not giving you an opinion on an outside issue. I'm giving you an opinion on an inside issue, okay? And what the trend of Narcotics Anonymous has been going towards lately for me, okay, are these people that think that talking to somebody on a cell phone, texting them from another meeting is as good as going to a meeting. Or hitting them up on Facebook. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? I don't know. Great. All right? Why do you think we have home groups? Why do you think we have area? Why do you think we have regions? Why? Because we have to make sure that this message is carried, okay, properly, okay? I hate that I'm not the voice of gloom and doom here. Please don't hate me. I love to have fun in recovery. I love to have fun in Narcotics Anonymous. But there's some serious stuff going on right now. There's people dying by the droves. Okay? It's not a joke. And you want to know something? Like I said, when I first came around, NA is to the point now, I can dump a meeting list in your lap. There's a meeting almost in every other town. I can throw a stone and hit meetings where I live. Okay? Maybe you live in I have the spiritual principle of open-mindedness, okay? I'm not saying that you live in as urban of an area as I live in, okay? But it just seems, I'm the kind of guy, I can only speak for me, I'm the kind of guy is when you make it more easier for me, the more lazier I get. I need to remind myself constantly, chase your recovery like you chased your drugs. I know what I did to get high. Okay? And guess what? That's why I love about Narcotics Anonymous. They don't even call it getting high. They call it using. Because at the end, it wasn't even working anymore. It was just ways and means to get more. The gift of desperation. I'm telling you. It makes me shake when I think about everything that I knew, everything that was important to me was in my hand. All right? And I would take a beating before I'd give it up. I wouldn't care. I don't have to do that anymore. You people taught me that. You people taught me that I'm worth the trip. I'm really worth the trip. I'm worthy of learning about myself. And how do I do that? Because I learned through you people. I get involved with service. I get involved with other people's recovery. You know, Scott introduced me to him, introduced me up here, you know, and told everybody how special I am to him. He's very special to me. I met him here, okay? And it was just like, I don't know, we'll call it a fat kid thing. We met each other, and we looked each other in the eyes and said, I like you. Because he's about as sick as I am, you know? And it is fucked up, ain't it? But he's very special to me. And I have a lot of people, like I walk around this property. I walked around yesterday and I walked around today. Look, man, I can't look in a corner of this room without knowing somebody. You people are my family. This is my home group. Really is. This is like my 6-month home group. A lot of people in this room call it their home group, you know? There's a lot of times we have fun, and a lot of times we laugh. You know what was a fun time one time? I'll tell you some stories about Ripley, okay? First time I ever came here, I had less than a year clean. I showed up with this guy, Richie L., okay? We were having a Narcotics Anonymous convention in the state of New Jersey. The theme of the convention was "The monkey ain't no joke." All right? And it was a fun time, and we had a ball, man. I mean, we were absolutely out of our mind nuts. We had these old skunky dope fiend veterans that had us out there like their little minions, and we were like fire-breathing NA Nazis, okay? Hell or high water, I was ready to dive on a hand grenade for Jimmy K, you know what I mean? Yeah, I could see people out there going, yeah, me too, right? All right? So what we did was, we were going to have this convention, classy hotel, Morris County, New Jersey, the Governor Morris Hotel. Real fancy place, pinky out, you know? And what we did was, we rented the hotel, and they were nice enough to let us have a contract, and we rented the hotel, and then we had a couple of fundraisers, and by the time the convention came around, you ever see one of those blow-up gorillas they put in front of car dealerships? Well, we hoisted it up on the roof of the fucking Governor Morris Inn. I'm sure they're real appreciative of that. Okay? But what we were doing in the meantime was to raise this money. We were selling T-shirts and merchandise. And we were looking around at all these events. The NA paper wasn't on a website. None of that crap. It was in the paper, the NA Way. Okay. It was in an NA Way paper, and we looked in the back, and we saw this event, Ripley, West Virginia. Okay, now, remember, I didn't have a year clean yet, okay? So I definitely didn't have the spiritual principle of open-mindedness, okay? Trust me on that, all right? Typical kid from New Jersey, right? That's another way of saying jerk off, okay? Me and my friend Richie were basically like high-fiving each other like we were on Jersey Shore, and we were like, oh! We're going to saddle up and go to West Virginia and sell these hillbillies a whole bunch of T-shirts. Yeah. Go ahead, buy a monkey ain't no joke shirt. You could chase your sister around the kitchen table with it on. I don't care what you do. Just buy the merchandise. Shh. Bear with me. Don't hate. Don't, not yet. Don't hate. So what we did was, me and my boy Richie came down here. Now remember, I am a chameleon. I've done everything in my life. I've went everything from Guido to rock star to made guy in the mafia to biker. You know what I mean? I was like Hugo, the man of 1,000 faces. I don't know who the hell I am, man, but I just keep changing my disguise, you know? So at that time in my life, or my first year in recovery, me and Richie were wearing like leather suit jackets. You could have shot my head with a .22 pistol and it would have never got in. My hair was, we looked like Cousin Vinny and we come showing up to this place, right? We come walking in with leather suit jackets on, our hair all done back, like, hey, you going to the dance tonight, Joey? Right? So what happens is, we're flying down here, and you know when it's a long trip, we're like, oh, West Virginia, it ain't gonna be nothing. Well, 7.5 hours later, we're like, how the frick long is this state, man? We're like burning down a highway. By the time we got from like Fairmont, and we're heading towards Parkersburg, I am like doing like the speed barrier. We're ripping this. I'm telling you, I am not lying. This is a true story. We're coming down Route 50, heading towards Parkersburg. I must be doing like 95 miles an hour. Me and my buddy Richie with suit jackets on and bulletproof hair with a couple of cardboard boxes of NA T-shirts in the back of the car. We get pulled over by a West Virginia state trooper. Guy pulls us up now. Here, spiritual principles, right? I threw NA right under the wheels of the bus, right? I put down the window, I'm like, oh, what's going on? How you doing? He's like, license, registration, insurance card. I'm like, I'm taking that out of my wallet, like, did I do anything out of the ordinary? He goes, I clocked you at 95 miles an hour coming down Route 50. I was like, oh. He looks at my license. He goes, New Jersey, what are you doing out here? All right? And he's like looking at the back of the car now, and he sees all these boxes. He probably thinks it's like methamphetamine or something, you know? We're like, we're going out to West Virginia. We're going to sell T-shirts for Narcotics Anonymous. Step out of the car. Right? Now, we're so proud, right? We get out of the car, and we're like standing outside of the car like, not moving, nobody moves, nobody gets hurt. Right? We're selling NA T-shirts. What is NA? What are you talking about? So my friend Richie looks at him and goes, we're recovering drug addicts. Trooper goes, open a box. We open up the box, and he's going through them. We're like showing him our different designs. We're so proud, man. We're like, look at this, man. This shirt is smoking, bro. We're not gonna be able to. We're gonna sell all these shirts, right? He goes, you guys really are recovering drug addicts? We said, yeah. We're selling T-shirts to raise money for New Jersey. He goes, I'm not kidding you. He goes to us, wow, that's awesome. He gave us the license back and said, get out of here. Nothing. We were like, thank you, NA. Right? You know? We were like, we're the kings of get over. So anyway, we get pulled over, we drive out here. We come to Ripley, West Virginia. And the bottom line is, this is the truth. The love that I felt here and the treatment that I got here, and here's the thing, the level of sharing that I heard going on here, that's what I heard. I heard people really talking about, look, I was used to going to, and I'm not saying that all of them, look, this is my experience, strength, and hope, not yours. I'm just telling you. I went to a few meetings by my house, you know what I mean? And all of them were like, it was superficial kind of like couple of, you know what I mean? Like people would put their hand up and say, you know, I'm grateful to be clean. My boss is an asshole. My wife's a douchebag. You know what I mean? No suicide, no homicide. It's a good day, you know? I came here and I really heard people open their hearts up and share about what was going on with them. And they were talking about steps, and step works with their sponsor, and feelings, and spiritual principles. And me and Richie, I didn't care about fuck the boxes of T-shirts in the car. Richie, we just found utopia. All right? That's called being Riplified, okay? That's what it was like for me, okay? To be able to see this, be able to experience the speakers that I've seen when I've come here. I've seen some people speak, man. Like that's why a lot of times where, you know, I was asked, it's an honor to come up here and share. And because I think of some of the people that came before me, some of these predecessors that were Ripley speakers, and you want to know something? I am absolutely humbled. I had a panic attack in my hotel room last night. I swear to God, my heart was in my throat. I was getting ready to just pack the bike up and skedaddle out of here. I'm telling you, I was ready to burn the highway, leave my brothers in my motorcycle club behind. I was ready. I was like, and you want to know something? Scott came to the room, and he calmed me down, and we talked, and we shared our hearts with each other, and talked about our pains and anguish and our hopes and our dreams like we always do. We talked from our heart to each other. And you want to know something? The epiphany came. I belong here. I have a message of recovery. Really do. You know? It doesn't matter. That's the thing I've learned about Ripley. Whether I come up here and make a fool of myself and shit the bed, you still love me anyway. You're not going to throw me out of here. It's unconditional love. That's what I felt here. You know what I mean? A lot of times, people, I wasn't, when I first came here, like I said, I had bulletproof hair and a leather suit jacket on. I wasn't about to talk all warm and fuzzy with people about my feelings. You know what I mean? I was an idiot. The minute somebody tried to talk about their feelings, I'm like, what are you, a homo? What, are you going to get all warm and fuzzy on me? You're kind to me. I'll try to borrow $5 off of you. You know? And then what I had a couple of people from this great state of West by God, Virginia. And some people from the great Buckeye state of Ohio. All right? They looked at me in a loving and caring way, square in my eye, and said to me, you're either going to change that behavior or you're going to get high over it. You need to take the journey on the inside. It's not going to kill you. You need to learn about who you are and what you are and where you're going. And I did. You know? And I found out a lot of things about myself, and I found out a lot of things about you people. You know? I found out that I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of having healthy people in my life. You know, it wasn't like that when I was active. You know, I haven't been high in a little while, and I still know active behavior very, very well. I know how to function in dysfunction. I love that kind of stuff. All right? Believe me. You bring me to a bad neighborhood where people are yelling and screaming and punching holes in the walls, and you hear gunshots, I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I could smell sausage and pepper sandwiches cooking in the air. Like I feel like I'm on a boardwalk, you know what I mean, or a carnival. You know, I'm just like, wow, this is great, man. Wow, duck, bullet, you know. And I've stayed here long enough. To take the time to just walk around and breathe in some air and look at some clouds and look at some trees, you know, and think about how much in the grand scheme of things I really don't matter. Because there's a lot of times where I want to make it all about me, okay? You know? It's me this is happening to. Don't you understand? I was talking about this last night with a couple of people that are close to me, and I said that my buddy Dennis, he's a good friend of mine, man, one of my best friends in the whole world. I love him to death. He was the one that sat me down and said to me, your truth is not the truth. And you need to take ownership of that. Your truth is not the truth. That's just the way that you see it, and that's the way that you feel it because you're going through it. But the truth is, that's not what it is. See, I want to this is it, you know? Like I talk about like my girlfriend, I'm crazy about her. I see things like this, and my girlfriend sees things like this. You know what I mean? And I need that. I need to have somebody say, no. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like one of my biggest defects of character is self-righteousness. You know? I want to hang on to something and puff myself up and stand on your head and look for applause. Doesn't work that way. You know? What I know is that setbacks pave the way for comebacks. That's what it does. Every time I go through something, and I take it so like, you know, this guy used to say to me all the time, he used to go, Q-Tip, quit taking it personal. That's what I do. Everything I take is so personal to me. You know what I mean? I am so focused on the setback, and I am so focused on the inconvenience. And don't you know that I'm going through this? And I needed people like you people to say, don't you know you're getting prepared to go through something that's even better? That's what you're doing. It's not about what you've lost. It's what you're going to gain. I have hope today. You people have hope today. I have a God of my understanding that has great plans for me. And you as well. I'm not here to define it for you. That's what I love about this fellowship. That's what I love about, what's the theme of this convention? When at the end of the road, penned by the hand of Jimmy Kay, the founder of this fellowship. And what does it talk about at the end of the road? About jails, institutions, and death. It talks about being given the gift of desperation when I no longer had a choice. Then I was faced with unlimited options, and that's the truth. So when I'm going through something, Narcotics Anonymous showed me the hope that it's only getting you prepared to do something even greater. And the best thing that I can do is get out of myself. Be there for somebody else. You know? That's what it taught me. It taught me that I don't need to have all the answers in this 24 hours. I'm the guy who's like screaming up and down like a little kid because I want all the answers right here, right now. I'm an addict, okay? You're an addict just like me. I want it all, and I want it yesterday. It's Narcotics Anonymous is like having a test, and we give you the answer sheet, and you still fail it. I gave you the answer sheet, you dumbass. And why did we fail it? Because just one more time I got in my own way. My sponsor tells me, you know what you just did? You just went, psst, come here, I want to talk to you. I just called myself up the alley and pickpocketed myself. One more time. All right, you think I trust you people? I still got a chain on my wallet, okay? There is nobody in this world that jams me up more than me. I think of all these hypothetical situations. I'm ready to go into a meeting and combat somebody because I locked in this opinion that they have of me. It's all fear. And all my fears are freaking lies, man. All my fears, all these things that make me feel less than, all these things that I want to dig through my box of magic tricks and just put something else on, you know what I mean? I've done it. I've came to Narcotics Anonymous. I did everything, man. I've done everything. I've racked up credit cards. I played video games till I had no skin on my thumbs. You know what I mean? You know? Spent a little longer than I should have in a bathroom with myself. Okay? like, right? You love me, Tim, right? Absolutely. Like Ozzy from Zanesville via California now, what he says is, I constantly 13-step myself. You know? But the thing is, what I've realized is no matter what I do or no matter what I try to do to fill that hole, it's not going to fill it. It's never going to fill it. There was a guy that he was a man of the cloth, and he was in recovery. And he said, don't you understand you were born into this world with a hole in your spirit that only can be filled with a personal relationship with God? And how about this? To go even more so, he goes, and I'm not here to explain that to you. He didn't try to sell Catholicism on me. He didn't try to convert me to Christianity. He talked to me as another recovering human being. And he told me the truth. He says, you were born into this world. And I thought about it, and I said to myself, the disease of addiction, right? Am I correct? I can stick my finger and drop it onto a piece of glass and slide it around and stick it under a microscope, and you can't find this. Therefore, it's a disease of the spirit. I have a diseased spirit where there's something inside of me that I always I'll say like I shared when I was out in Kentucky. I heard this guy share one time, Frank G. from Stockton, California, and he said, long before I admitted and I accepted I had the disease of addiction, I always had this dis-ease. And that locked into me. I'm telling you, I stood up and I almost lost it because he put his finger on something I've spent decades trying to put my finger on. And it's the truth. I have the disease of addiction. I don't feel right inside of my own skin. if I'm not living by these spiritual principles and I'm not connected to this fellowship, I start feeling real jagged, real fast. You know, on my rag here that I wear, I got this blue K that's on my vest. This K stands for my friend Kristen Z. She hung herself. And she left bags of heroin on her nightstand in her bedroom. And her mother found her in her closet hanging. Because the pain was too great to do the bags of dope, she offed herself. And now she's my angel. She rides with me. She was a good friend of mine. And it wasn't a sexual relationship. It was a friend. It was my buddy. The memories that I have of her, I would sit there and watch that Pee Wee Herman movie with her. And she would sit next to me on the couch, and she would say every line in that movie verbatim. And sometimes I sit here and I cry in frustration because I say, if you could do that, you got the energy to know the literature like that and apply it. And I don't want to lose sight of this. I'm not asking you to be a puppet with the literature either, because I got my own pet peeves when it comes to that stuff too. Okay? All these people want to pound and bang on the literature and sound profound, you know what I mean? Listen. I heard somebody from Beckley, West Virginia say, hey, buddy, y'all better get your video to match your audio. That's what I needed to hear. That's what I needed to hear. You know? I'm not the kind of guy, I never ran around and said, well, I have an NA sponsor, who's got an NA sponsor, who's got an NA sponsor, who's got an NA sponsor. Listen, I didn't need to know my cop man. You understand what I'm saying to you? I never ran around and said, you know, I did a bag of cocaine at Pablo Escobar, personally stuck his pinky inside of. All right? This is what I know. I know my sponsor. I have an idea. I know who my sponsor's sponsor is. He's from Philadelphia, by the way. Bucks County. Okay? My grand sponsor is I know who he is. This is what I know. My sponsor's there for me. We work steps out of World Service approved literature. Okay? And he answers the phone. He's there for me. Okay? There's a lot of times where, like I told you, my buddy Dennis that stuck out to me, your truth isn't the truth. I'm in a meeting one night and I'm starting to get a twitch in my eyebrow. Just looking at somebody. Okay, can you get with that? Huh? You ever go to an NA meeting and somebody walks in a room and you're ready to I hate you. You fucking asshole. Right? And what really pissed me off and what, you know, I'm okay. I'm getting better now. Guy comes walking into the meeting and he's got a piece of literature in his hand and it's got all kinds of 3 different colors of highlighter in it. And he got all these index things sticking out of the side of it. And I'm like, look at this jerk off. Right? And my friend Dennis says to me, why don't you just be grateful that you don't need to do that to feel okay with yourself? That's his literature. He bought it. He's allowed to do whatever he wants with it. Who are you? And I was like, I hate you, but thank you. You know? There's a lot of times where when something really bothers me, I really have to think, why is it bothering me? Right? And one of the guys in my motorcycle club that I ride with, he's a good friend of mine. He was my chapter sponsor. He was my sponsor in my motorcycle club. My friend Jethro. I love him dearly. A big hulk of a man. And he's the one that says to me, remember that movie Meatballs? He always goes, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Really, I need to hear that, man, because you know what? I spend my emotions like an idiot sometimes, man. That's why I needed some people here to teach me, man, that you know what? The front row of my movie are not cheap seats anymore. The front row of my movie are the people that are nearest and dearest to me. The people I invest in my emotions in, the people that count. The people that are really important to me, okay? And I'm not saying that like I'm one of these guys who's getting caught up on what's hot and what's hot and what's not. You know, who's worthy and who's not. Everybody is. Anybody is. I remember my sponsor walked over to me at a meeting. He says, you know what? I heard you sharing a meeting tonight. I was like, yeah. He goes, you're talking all this gratitude and how grateful you are for Narcotics Anonymous. I'm like, yeah, well, I really meant that. He goes, yeah? Well, then walk over to a newcomer. Walk over to a newcomer. How about this? Walk over and point out your number and your name on the back of that meeting list and let them know it's okay to call. It's that simple. Because, and I looked at him like, well, I'm not. He's like, yeah. Past couple of times I came to this Friday night meeting, when the meeting's over, you guys, you and your support group, jump in the cars and fly down the street to the Pancake House. You know what I mean? That's what we do. It's like our tradition. Like we have traditions in Ripley, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing like being with your support group and going to the diner and acting like fools and this, that, and the other thing. You know? We used to get off on that, man. We used to go to this Perkins Pancake House. Yeah, right? This is fun. We used to go to Perkins Pancake House, man, and we'd go in there like acting like, you know, and there was a whole bunch of people from the other fellowship that used to go sit in a table in the corner, and we used to get off just watching them cringe when we ran in a restaurant. They would be standing there with their menus like, oh, they're here. all hell-bent on acting normal, you know? This is all I could say, okay? Narcotics Anonymous, if we had a fire truck, you bet your ass that fire truck would have like duct tape and Band-Aids on the hoses. There wouldn't be a tire that matched on the whole fucking thing, okay? And you bet your ass there'd be some newcomer sitting up on a fender going, and you'd be saying, why is he doing that? Where's the fucking siren? Somebody sold it, that's why. Okay? It was brass. He got good money for it. I've seen everything come in here. I've seen people steal the area's money. Guess what? They still go to meetings. Watch this, folks. Still can't grab a halo. Nobody's perfect. Okay? Did you misappropriate Narcotics Anonymous funds? Yes, I did. Nobody's perfect. Okay? I don't think it's a good thing to do. It's like they say in the literature, I don't think it's not a requirement to relapse. But some people, that was the thing that they needed to do to get with this. You know? As many people as there are inside of this room is that many different styles of recovery. Everybody has something. Everybody has something that they bring to the table. Everybody has something that they can offer. Every time I go through something and I do not understand what is it, God, that you're trying to point out to me? What am I supposed to see here? Later on down the road in his time, not my time, in my God's time, guess what? Somebody's going to come across me and I'm going to be like, wait a minute, I got experience, strength, and hope with this one. This is why I went through that. Because I'm going to help you get through it. You know? I've seen some people share some bizarre shit in meetings, man. Enough to make my eyebrow twitch again. But guess what? It's a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. It's not my meeting. You know? My disease is talking to me. My disease. Stop making it your disease. How about the disease of addiction? The more I make things me, the more I personalize it, the more I get in my own way. I need to become selfless, a day at a time. And it's hard, you know? What else do I want to talk about? I got a lot. I'm telling you, I got a lot of shit to say. We can talk all night long. Okay? What? How am I doing, Shane? Doing all right? Am I making you proud of me? All right. You know, there's a lot of things that that come to mind. You know, early recovery. We used to do a lot of fun things. You know. And I'm not saying that we don't do them anymore, you know what I mean? It's just that, I don't know. It's, when all those things that are so precious, when you're a newcomer, I'm telling you, hang on to every single thing that you're doing. Remember it. Because there are all those things that don't mean shit to you right now. Later on down the road, you're like, wow, that was great. It was so precious. It's priceless. We used to have, for Valentine's Day, an all-you-can-eat Ziti Fest. And we used to call it, they eat your heart out. It was good. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. We're dope fiends, man. We know how to, you know, it's about attraction rather than promotion, but sometimes we do a little, you know. So we used to have this Ziti Fest, and then we used to have spiritual breakfasts all the time. We used to love doing those, you know what I mean? It's great, because if you go down to your average BJ's or Costco's or whatever, you could buy, you can make enough pancakes to, you know, to feed the state of Ohio with $8, you know, and then charge everybody $5 at the door. Get a male speaker, a female speaker, you know, topic of gratitude. That's really hard, you know, or unity, and we had fun. I'm telling you, we had a lot of fun. We used to have this guy, Jimmy, and Jimmy wanted to be selfless that day. What do you people need? Well, we're making breakfast right now. We need sugar. Okay. Jumps in his car, runs down the street, and gets a big 5-pound bag of sugar. By the time he comes back, he walks back in there, and he's like, where's all the food? Oh, it's gone, bro. What do you mean it's gone? There was pans like this of scrambled eggs and sausage and bacon. Sorry, man. Everybody started eating. We're cooking breakfast. And I was like, Jimmy, you wanted to go down and get that sugar. What makes you so... What do you think? We're going to make like a plate on the side and hold it for you? It's not the way it works. Hey, fuck you, man. True story. 3 weeks later, I went to my Friday night home group at the time. My friend Harry walked up to me. He said, you hear about Jimmy? I said, Jimmy who? He says, you know Big Jimmy? I said, yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Smoking crack and trying to come down on Robitussin. Okay? This disease is not a joke. Do you understand that? The sense of entitlement. My sponsor says to me all the time, gratitude and entitlement cannot occupy the same space at the same time. If you think you're entitled to something, you better check your gratitude. If you think you deserve a plate at breakfast, it doesn't work that way. You do it and you pay it forward and you don't care. I've seen trusted servants of this convention do things above and beyond, and they didn't care about anything. They don't want a hand clap. They don't want a slap on the back. They do it because they're grateful to be clean. Case closed. That's what inspires me. That's what gets me riplified. That's what puts goosebumps on top of goosebumps on top of goosebumps. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It makes me go, whee! That's what makes me feel good, you know. I remember I went to a convention in New Jersey, and actually the chairperson of the convention, the dance was going on Saturday night. It was in full swing, and I was a newcomer. It was my first year in recovery. I got clean in September, and this was a New Year's convention. So it's January. And I was upstairs in the top floor of this convention in this beautiful hotel, and I'm watching a convention chair wiping tables off and folding them up and rolling them in a corner. And I'm looking at myself like, this guy's the convention chair, man. He's the main cuisine. Why aren't you walking around with like a scepter and a pimp cup? You know? I mean, really, I mean, what did I know? I was a newcomer. I'm saying to myself, yeah, don't you got somebody that's stupid enough to do this? Right? And what I learned was he was doing it because he was grateful he hadn't stuck a needle in his arm for a little while. Simple as that. He was grateful that he wasn't washing his works out of a fire hydrant. You know? I'm not here to talk about my drug of choice. It doesn't matter. I'm a garbage head, man. Really. You know what I mean? All I can say is this. If you're walking around in your underwear with a steak knife in your hand, there's a problem. Right? If you pull up to the cop spot in your underwear and your dealer's going, oh, shit. Look at this crazy motherfucker. Yeah, that's me. No. I was telling a story this afternoon where we went and grabbed some pizza. I was eating pizza with people I basically don't even know from a can of paint. And we're having a ball. And we're eating pizza, and I was telling them about the time that I was so messed up that I pulled up on a cop spot where I always went with a flat tire. I took a turnoff on a highway at like 70 miles an hour with a Coupe de Ville. Bang! I hit the curb, tire blows up, and I was like, yeah, like that's going to stop me. I'm just ripping towards the cop spot, man, you know? And I thought my dealer was so nice to me because he changed my tire, right? He changed my tire because he wanted me the fuck out of there. He wanted to conduct his business, you know? I don't have many sponsees. I've sponsored many men in this fellowship, and guess what, folks? Not a lot of them really stay around, okay? Right now I'm working with 2, and I love both of them, and they definitely have a grasp of the steps. They love to learn about spiritual principles, and it's a two-way street. I need them as much as they need me, you know? July 6th, 2010, my sponsee came over my house to do step work. Now, I came to I'm like everybody else in NA. I'm not no different. I'm not unique. I'm not a unicorn. I came to Narcotics Anonymous. I got married in Narcotics Anonymous. I got divorced in Narcotics Anonymous. Wow, what an epiphany. So, and what happened was when I got divorced, I sold the house, and what I did was I moved back in with my folks. And I live downstairs in their house. Their downstairs at their house is my apartment, and that's where I live. And there's a lot of times, look, if you love me for my honesty, okay? Because there's a part in my life at my increment of clean time and the knowledge that I have of the steps and spiritual principles. You're living in mommy and daddy's basement, right? My head one more time wants to tell me, you're nothing. You're a loser. Look where you are. Look what you've done with your life. You're a fucking waste. Okay? And I fight like a bastard and I say, no, I'm not. I'm a good son, and I'm a great uncle, and I'm an outrageous boyfriend. Yeah, I am. I may be fat, but I can move, baby. You know? That's right. Right? That's right. I got more moves than Tom Jones. That's right. I can't help it. I'm a product of the 70s, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're anything like me, between Evel Knievel and Kiss, my mind is fucking putty. You know? But anyway, what I had to do was at that time when I was feeling inadequate, when I wasn't feeling good with myself, when I wasn't taking ownership of really my successes, what I'm doing and where I'm going and what direction I'm headed in, I had to run it down with my sponsor, and I said to him, I don't own my own house, or I don't have my own townhouse or my own apartment. He says to me, George, tell me this. I said, yeah. He goes, do you have a cell phone? I said, yeah. He goes, do you pay it? I said, yeah. He goes, do you have a credit card? I said, yeah. He goes, are you tardy in your payments? Do you pay your credit card? I said, yes, I do. He goes, you have car insurance? You register your car? I said, yeah, dude, I pay all those bills. He goes, a mortgage is another bill. You are basing your self-worth on a bill. You're basing your self-worth on some hypothetical situation that's supposed to live up to the expectations of people that don't even matter to you. Understand? Can you get with it? This is crucial identification here, folks. This is Narcotics Anonymous. Okay? It wouldn't be any other way. My father is 78 years old. He just turned 78 on April 27th. Look at this, man. You want to talk about the miracle of recovery? I remember people's birthdays. You think I ever remember? Did you remember your father's birthday? My father for decades was, yeah, Dad. Yeah, Dad. You got $20? You should do this? Yeah, Dad. Yeah, Dad. Okay? So my father's 78. My mother's 72. My mother's 72. They're in what my mother likes to call, the winter of their years. I love them to death. What I find is they're getting more like children, okay? And that's okay, because I see myself in them. And I need them as much as they need me. So anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. Last year in July 6th of 2010, I had my sponsee come over to my house to work steps with me. He's going to come downstairs, and everybody has some kind of ritual that they do, don't you? Like you have certain things that you do. I know I do. What makes me feel comfortable, and it's what makes them feel comfortable. Like, this is one of my traditions, okay? When I work a fit step with somebody, I usually like to do I always split a s'mores flavored Pop-Tart. It always breaks the ice for me. I find a little comfort in that little bit of a little s'mores flavored, Pop-Tart. That's a nice thing. It's an icebreaker, you got somebody getting ready to bare their soul to you. You have to have something that's lighten up, Francis. So anyway, we do that, and I like to light candles. I like tea light candles. I like incense. I burn some incense and tea light candles, and I make get people to feel comfortable. And I was having them come downstairs, and then all of a sudden my sponsee comes down, and I give him a big hug, and there's a knock on the door. And I open up the door, it was my father. And my father says to me, you better come upstairs right now. Now my heart drops out of my ass, okay? When I get this tape, I'm probably like such a potty mouth tonight. But I can't. It's me. Take it or leave it. That's all I can be. That's right. Okay. That's good, yeah. Thank God I have some people to back me. It's like Johnny Cochran over here, you know what I mean? If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. So anyway, there's a knock on the door. There's a knock on the door, and it was my father telling me that my dog died. And there is nothing in this world like the love of a dog. Unconditional. I'm telling you people, gifts from God that I received in recovery. No, you can't be in a relationship. Here's a puppy. And I grew that dog up in recovery. It was a recovery dog. The dog used to come to meetings with me. I used to go back and forth with my sponsor because my sponsor used to grab me and say, that dog has absolutely no business being in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. What are you, Charles Mangala? What's wrong with you? It's a dog. He says, that dog's taking the focus off of this group. You got people looking at the dog. Oh, it's so cute. Chicks love dogs. So anyway, I stopped bringing the dog to the meeting. But anyway, I grew up that dog. I took care of that dog. That dog was everything to me. And to go upstairs and find that dog laying on the floor dead at the bottom of the steps, I broke down and I cried until snot came out of my nose in my sponsee's chest. And all he did was he held me and he rubbed my head. And he told me that he loved me. And he says, I'm not going anyplace now. He said, I'm so sorry, we're not going to be able to go for step work, man. And he said to me, it's okay. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. Don't worry. We'll get something to put her in and we're going to bury her. And I went outside. The disease of addiction, the self-centered part of me. I walk outside. This was July 6th, 2010. It was about 105 degrees. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. You had to die in the hottest fucking day of the summer. Right? Oh, man. Now I wanted to beat that dog with that shovel like, you fuck. Right? And he wouldn't leave me. He stayed with me the whole time, my sponsee. And we went up in a backyard, and my mother and father were so attached to that dog. It was everything to them. And my mother and father, I wasn't going to keep them out of it. It was my dog. But you know what? I let them in on the process. And my mother's walking around the backyard like the mother that she always has been. And, oh, this looks like a good spot over here. No, wait. This is good over here. She liked the shade under this tree. No, I'm like, pick a fucking spot, man. You know? I can't help it. I can't. And she picks a spot, and a spot that she picks, you have never seen more rocks in your life. I'm like, I gotta dig this hole with a stick of dynamite, okay? And we were sweating. I thought I was gonna drop. And we buried that dog, and I said a prayer for her, and we played some music for her. What I'm saying is, I've done this with sponsees. If you think that if you don't know who your sponsor is yet, or if you don't think that you mean anything to them, you're kidding yourself. I know the relationship that I have with my sponsor. And there's times when I told you where I feel like I'm not worth the trip. And I'm not feeling any good. And I'm over his house. And I'm doing all the talking. And why aren't you talking? And I'm blah, 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 puppet lips. You know, I got all this stuff going on in my head. And then I stop and I say, okay, I think I've said enough. What do you got to tell me? And then he begins to tell me things about myself that are so beautiful that I don't even think that I'm worthy of hearing it. And I want to stick my freaking fingers in my ears and he's talking about how much he's seen me grow and how much he's seen me change and how proud he is of me and what kind of a man I've become. You know, I love my sponsor dearly. I really do. I'm going to tell you about my sponsor. My sponsor's, I think, like 64 or 65 years old. My sponsor is an old beatnik. He goes back to the days of Jack Kerouac and bongo drums. Okay? My sponsor is, I call him Master Yoda. Okay? And he soothes the savage beast. He tells me things about myself, and he tells me things. He just breaks it down really simple. But don't think that I'm talking about, no pedestals. We're not talking about pedestals, you know what I mean? Not building them up like, oh, this guy's the greatest guy in the world, you know what I mean? I think there's times about my sponsor, I look at him like, you're a real sick dude, man. Wow. I remember we were in a meeting one time, and his girl was sitting in his home group, and his girl was there, and she started to share, I'm just coming back because my parents didn't trust me. And I'm coming back because people in this fellowship will take your inventory, and my father didn't trust me with the credit cards, and I needed clothes to go to school. And she's going, you know, and guess what, man? Nobody can tell anybody what they can share in a meeting. Understand that? If it pisses you off, too bad. Tough shit. It's what's affecting them. They need to get through it. Believe me, I told you, my eyebrow twitches. I'm not no better, man. I'm just like, oh, I wish you would shut up. Okay? But yet again, now, my sponsor, okay, Mr. Master Yoda, the guy who I think floats on air. She got done sharing, he put his hand up, he goes, my name is T and I'm an addict. I used because my mother had square nipples. And I was like, that's why he's my sponsor. Okay? I'm going to explain it to you if you don't understand. He didn't do it to hurt her. He did it to help her. What he did was, in that time when she was going all off emotionally about all this crap, he pointed out to her in a loving and caring way just how silly she sounded. That there's much more important things than here, and this too shall pass. It's not as important as you think it is. All the things. You know, my first sponsor, and I'm going to wrap it up. My first sponsor was a great man. My first sponsor was this old dope fiend by the name of Irving. Okay? He went back to like New York City, the Fillmore, the New York Dolls. Okay? He was my kind of guy, man. I loved him dearly. And he was the kind of guy, when I would get him and I'd be like, I need to talk to you a minute. And I would explain these things to him that were hanging in my head like 1,000-pound weights from chains, just, teetering back and forth like, oh my God. And then when I would say it to him, it would come out of my mouth like a feather. And he would just go, next. Like I would say all these things that were so important, but when I spilled them out of my mouth, pain shared as pain lessened. When I would say all this stuff to me, he would be like, and he wouldn't say, oh, I don't have time for this. He would listen to me. And I would say it to him, and he would just blow the feather to the side and say, next. It's okay. You're going to be all right. Just don't get high. Go to a meeting. 90 meetings in 90 days. It's what we used to call the old skunky, funky dope fiends, the headectomy. It took 90 meetings in 90 days to get your head out of your asshole. Okay? And that's what I needed. I needed a 90 meeting, 90 day. I needed to get and use sponsor. I needed a phone list. I needed a home group. I needed every single one of those suggestions on the back of that meeting list. They are important. Really. If you follow those suggestions on the back of that meeting list, you're golden. You cannot be harmed in any way. You're golden. You're not exempt from life on life's terms. Sorry to burst your bubble. But you're golden. That's basically all I have to tell you. I really enjoyed being up here and sharing a little bit of myself with you people because you know why? After all these years I've been coming here, you people shared a hell of a lot with me. I just want to let you know I love you. Live long, be strong. Thanks for letting me share.